All right. Hey, everybody. It's Rick Neal again, back with a quick edition of Trump Emergency Columbus, number three. It is the afternoon, about 3:15 on Tuesday, January 28th. This is the Hands Off My Government edition. Uh, so, it's one of those days. Let's see. We've got busy day here in Columbus. What can I say? The kitchen is dirty, and I had to pick one of my kids up early from school because she's not feeling well. And we've got our American Caesar and his tech lords conducting a slow motion, well, not so slow motion, administrative coup against our government. Um, it's so what prompted me to get on here was the news that started coming out yesterday evening and into the night about the freeze on federal funding, freeze on federal spending that comes out in the form of grants and loans. And this is, hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars of money that flows out from the federal government that is authorized by Congress, that is law. Laws passed by Congress authorizing this spending, and that the president is supposed to, according to the Constitution, take care to execute the laws of the United States, take care to get this funding out according to the laws passed by Congress. And yet, last night there was this memo that went out from the Office of Budget and Management, OBM, that said, stop disbursement, stop spending, stop sending out money for grants and loans. And I mean, this is crazy. I also saw something that I just remembered that I forgot to follow up on. I think I saw something that said defense contracting is also frozen. Of course, foreign assistance has been frozen for a few days. And I'm already hearing from my friends who work overseas about what kind of impact that is having. But this announcement last night was really, really a lot. This is crazy. And I'll just give you an example. There have been reports today of state Medicaid offices. Medicaid is funded by the government and states, and it's flows through the states. State Medicaid offices getting online, getting on their account portal with the government, federal government, to draw down funds, and finding themselves locked out. And so we've got some states already suing the Trump administration. OBM seems to be backpedaling, sending out further instructions, and the reason that this is sort of creating a lot of generating a lot of anxiety among people and a lot of confusion, but also people seem to be holding their fire, is that the original funding freeze is not supposed to go into effect for a couple hours until 5 p.m. today. And so we'll see what really happens. Like I said, OBM has put out a second memo saying, oh no, this doesn't apply to everything. It doesn't apply to things like Medicaid. Well, I guess we'll see, right? So the problem here is that this is this is an administrative coup. This is Trump saying, I don't care what laws Congress passed. I am deciding that I am going to stop this funding. And, they can say that it's a freeze or temporary or whatever. In the memo, I think it says that agencies have until February 10th. That's like 2 weeks to figure out, what funding should continue. And, who, like, you could say this about everything, but I mean, who the hell do they think they are? Congress has the power of the purse. It is explicit. Congress passes laws around what kind of money is going to be spent and how. And the president, even in today's, vast presidential powers age, is obliged to, do that, obliged to follow the law. So we'll see how far Trump gets with this. But it really is a signal of Trump going to war with the other branches of the government, and that's why if if I were going to go out and protest this, which I want to, I think my sign would say "Hands off my government." Just because Trump, I think we have to remind ourselves every day, Trump is not the government. In a lot of ways, we are the government, right? That's what's supposed to happen. But the government is, the system that we've set up, that we know about the three branches: the executive, the legislative, and the judicial, that work together and function to supposedly to do what we want it to do and to make our lives better. And when and so here comes Trump saying to Congress, "Well, I don't care. I don't care that you authorize this. I don't care that you have laws and rules. I'm going to do what I want." And so it's incredible overreach. And I say hands off my government because that's our money. That's taxpayer money that, again, our representatives authorized, and that needs to flow out as intended, to do all the stuff that we want it to do, and need it to do. And Trump saying no. So hands off my government, Trump, and do your job is certainly my message. And this, so we'll see what starts to happen tonight at 5, and into tomorrow. It was very interesting for me being online last night as people started to absorb this news, among everything else that's been going on. Of course, the gutting or the destruction of DEI efforts and just flat out firing DEI staffers and shutting down DEI programs across the government. That also last night, really disgraceful attack on the human rights of transgender Americans, with a order coming out from the Department of Defense saying not only are transgender Americans barred from serving in American armed forces, but saying that they are unfit to do so because they are because they subscribe to this so-called gender ideology. It's disgusting. And this, and just as a side note, this dehumanization and degradation of Americans, of people, is part of a really sobering and and I don't like to use the word terrifying, but terrifying dehumanization of certain, of people that in the past has led to some really horrific human rights abuses. And if that it is unacceptable for them to even hint at such a thing. So we've had that last night too, and along with everything else. But it was interesting watching watching sort of watching stuff online really start to percolate last night around this spending freeze, because the power of Congress to allocate money is unquestioned. It is the thing that they do, and it is their responsibility. And this is such a clear power grab on Trump's part, to say, nope, we're going to cut it off, ostensibly for review or whatever. But I think we all know that we cannot trust the Trump administration to do the right thing and to act in good faith. They are hell bent for leather on cutting federal spending, but also, as I always have to remind myself and will remind you, what it really does is sets up just unbelievable vast opportunities for corruption. People with financial interests in continuing to see federal funding flow, and will do everything that they can to convince whoever they have to convince to make sure that those programs and that funding is authorized and continues to be dispersed. And so there are certain people who who are going to be part of this corruption. And I think it's just going to be absolutely epic. And that is, a complete and total betrayal of us as American citizens and betrayal of their oath to defend and protect the Constitution. So, it was interesting seeing some people really, start to be quite shocked about this online last night, and to remind all of us what a constitutional crisis this is. But it did not, given that, it did not seem to engender the kind of headlines or reaction from elected leaders that one might expect. Now, this, I get it. I get that, wiser, cooler heads want to take their time to figure out what's going on. Obviously, in a lot of ways, the administration holds a lot of the cards here, and they do not want to screw anything up. See if they can get their programs reauthorized, see if they can get funding flowing again by working with the administration. There are legal challenges. I think there's several states that have already filed suit to force the funding to keep going. But I got to say, once again, I'm sort of looking around here and saying, any of the leaders that I see in politics, in government, in business, in academia. I mean, here we are in Columbus with one of the premier U.S. educational institutions, the Ohio State University, right here. Culture. Anybody want to say anything like, wow, this is really screwed up, or, oh boy, this is going to hurt a lot of people? I mean, thankfully, there was someone who, a really amazing small business owner here in town, put something on Facebook talking about how this is shutting down a year-long project, that she's been working on for an employment project, and all of a sudden, rug pulled out from under her. Amazingly. Amazingly, there was a tweet from State Representative Jennifer Gross, I believe, who I think is the Ohio, sits on the oversight committee in the Ohio House for Ohio Medicaid. Didn't address the freeze directly, but did seem to say like, oh, hey, things are getting rocky, and this is a call for Ohio to stop being dependent on the federal government for programs. We got to do things on our own, which is, like a crazy thing to say. Hat tip to Rachel Coyle from Ohioans Against Extremism for pointing that out. But other than that, you really have to go digging for it. Nothing on the Dispatch website, despite the fact that Columbus, we are the center of state government in Ohio, and federal dollars, are pretty important to the functioning of state and local government. So I guess we'll see. But I had a chance to talk to a friend who challenged me and said, well, what do you want us to do? Because what happened, last night is I went on a rant on Facebook and put out a big long thing about Democrats and the Democratic Party and how, what it can and can't do and does and doesn't do. And I do see, quite a bit of comment online from people. It's about like, well, where are our leaders? What are people doing? And so my friend challenged me and she said, well, what do you want us to do? And, what I think my message is to my friends who are elected leaders, to other folks who might hear this message and be in a position of influence, like I said, whether that be in academia or business or culture or government, we don't know what to do right now. This is an unprecedented assault on our democracy and our government and our way of life. And, like I said, the political, economic, livelihood, and international security aspects of our lives, unprecedented assault. So we don't necessarily know what to do, and we don't want our policymakers, jumping to conclusions and coming up with slick sound bites that like say, oh well, we can do X, Y, and Z. All as a as an Ohioan, as somebody living here in Columbus, who's deeply worried about what's going on, all I'm looking for is a show of solidarity. All I'm looking for is folks to recognize, to show that they are aware of this craziness, and to even make light of it, or even address it, in a sort of uh, address it sort of sideways, but just um, like um, my council president Shannon Hardin putting out on Instagram that a list of companies that are still pursuing DEI, and that we that just here's a list of companies still pursuing DEI. We know what he's talking about, and that's a signal to us that he cares and that he's paying attention, that he's aware of these worries. It just a show of solidarity, just like I think so many of us are looking for ways to show solidarity with communities who are particularly targeted by Trump, migrants and trans folks. Just like we want to show solidarity with them, and are looking for ways to do that. So I think um, I. I think I alluded to this a little bit a couple days ago when I said, I think we could do worse uh, now than going back to what we did in 2017, and organizing protests, calling our legislators, making our opinions known. And I think I would love, personally, I would love to see a protest or a rally organized, pretty quickly, maybe for this weekend, within the next few days, just for people to be able to get together and protest what Trump has been doing during his first week back in power, with these insane executive orders and this absolute assault on our government and on Congress. It's unacceptable what he's doing, and the tone that he and how he's doing this. Is no way to run a country. I would love to see that. In the meantime, I think calling our legislators, I think, is an effective way to, is one of the things that citizens have to do. And so I am going to try calling someone right now, Bernie Moreno's office. Bernie Moreno is our new U.S. Senator, not the newest. He's now the senior senator in Ohio, which is crazy because he just came into office at the beginning of January. Our junior senator, of course, is the appointee John Husted, who took office just last week. And I think I'm going to try calling Bernie's office just to say, look, I'm a constituent. I am very concerned about this federal spending freeze, and I think that the Senate needs to protect its congressional authority and stop its activities until the Trump administration starts doing its job again. So I don't know what's going to happen, but let's see. Let's find out.
Thank you for contacting the office of Senator Bernie Moreno. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message, and we will return your call as soon as possible. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished,
Okay, I'll leave a
hang
message.
up or press pound for more options.
Hi, my name is Rick Neal, and my phone number is 614-256-4191. I am a constituent here in the state of Ohio, and I am calling from the 43209 zip code. And I am calling to urge Senator Moreno to stand up to what the Trump administration is doing and thwarting the will of Congress, asking him to step up to protect congressional authority, to authorize spending, which it has done, and which now the Trump administration is not doing by this federal funding freeze. And I think that the Senate should stop work until the Trump administration begins following the law and dispersing the funds that Congress has authorized. Thank you very much. Bye. Okay. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know, it's sort of hard in the moment when you make these calls to know what to say. But and I I don't think that Bernie Moreno is going to be standing up to defend the authority of Congress anytime soon. But I think that is one of the things, of course, that we have to do, and there's tons and tons of people that do it. So, happy as always to hear from folks. Yeah, what a crazy time. I'm sort of laughing at myself that I just gave up my phone number on YouTube Live. Probably not a great idea, but anyway, so grateful for all the folks that I've heard from. Grateful for this opportunity to think through things. Would love to continue to hear from people. I think we have a terrific opportunity here in Columbus to come together on Saturday, February 8th, with Indivisible Central Ohio for their organizing meeting, to see old friends and to make new friends and figure out how we're going to respond to this. This is our government, and the government is not Donald Trump. He is just one part of it. And we've got to protect our government, and he needs to do his job. So I really hope that, I really hope that as this funding freeze takes hold in less than 2 hours, that it's not as bad as we thought. I really hope that reauthorization, starts funding flowing again very, very soon. But it is the way that Trump is doing this is just to screw with us and to assert his power, and it is wrong. So let's keep going. Thanks, and I'll see you all again soon.